This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman, and I've just completed mounting a Badlands 2000 winch on this golf cart. And I've done it in an interesting way, in the sense I have mounted it on the rear rather than the front, and I've also demounted it where it is detachable. The reason for that is I have an area that I'm going to hunt the last days of the season that might include hauling a deer up a 15-foot sheer cliff. And of course I'm not about to do that. So that's why I'm readying this winch. Now, we've used it before. We actually used it to load an ATV on a trailer. And what we found out when we rigged it was that we used this plank assembly, and yeah, it got it up there, but it just broke this one bow to pieces, which is not surprising really. So we're now using a 2x6 as backing, and we have it attached to the frame of the ATV this way. And we'll show you the particulars now. Some of these Badland winches have a remote control. Well, mine, by happenstance, happens to have the manual control, which is okay. And we've hooked it up to the battery there, as you can see, and we're using relatively small batteries. So if I have to haul this thing back in the woods somewhere, well, I can have that option. Now, in particular, how we attached it. We have this bolt here, and it runs through the 2x, and on the back side are a series of washers expanding to about 1 inch. So you get a full bite on the wood in the back side. Now, we also have the hook so it spools out from the top rather than the bottom. That gives you a little extra clearance. The bottom attachment is very close on the other side to the spool, and consequently I had to cut the nuts off and bolt it the opposite direction. So you see the head is on the back and the nuts on the front on the bottom attachment, where the reverse is true on the top. This was just so I could get clearance through the cable. To temporarily hold this plank onto the golf cart, I've just got it tied on with a good piece of nylon cord. So I can pick this whole mess up and stick it between 2 trees. Yeah, and just haul the battery over to it, instead of having to negotiate the golf cart all the way back through the thick stuff to get where I can get a proper lift. So this gives me maximum versatility. And there's nothing to say that this assembly has to always be wedded to this golf cart. I can take it off and use it on a trailer. I can take it off and use it on anything else. I could reverse it and attach it to the front if I needed to. So, okay. Now, perhaps a more sophisticated way would be to hook this thing up to the 12-volt battery pack of the golf cart itself. And perhaps I'll find someone a little more knowledgeable than me to go about doing that. It would be relatively simple. It's just basically running some wires from the positive and negative ends of the battery pack on the front to these leads and connecting them up. Right now, yeah, we're going to see if we can move some timber with this thing. Recent storms have toppled these dead pines across my road, and some of them I can just heave out of the way, but this one going to obviously have to cut, and when I get it cut, we'll use the winch and see if we can use it to help pull it off the road. As I was unwinding the winch, some really gnarly loops appeared jumping off the spool. And this was where the winch was wound up with little or no tension on it. And so the cable did not lay flat. So we corrected that, and we've got it longer than we actually need it to be, but we want to make sure that when we re-spool, we get it as straight back onto the winch as we can. All right, we got that started straight, and now we'll let you see what it's doing at the other end. Okay. Yeah, we pulled it up off the road, so that's good enough around. That's what I was after. Count that as a success. Our initial test of concept certainly worked. And now we'll be able to take it down to the swamp and see if we can rig it to actually hoist a deer. One thing about this method though, that is a small battery. It's been used. Consequently, we're going to have to disconnect it and recharge it before we put it to full use again. This is Hovey Smith reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe. Goodbye, God bless, and see you next time.